There was once a young farmer, and every day he would bring his water buffalo across the dusty plains, across the fields, to a river to drink. One day, he came to a river and he saw a girl on the other side. She was fetching water. She was beautiful. He made sure he came back to that same place the next day. He saw her again. Their eyes met. The next day, their eyes met. He smiled, and she turned away. The next day, their eyes met. He smiled. She smiled. The next day, he waved. She waved back. The day finally came when he plucked up the courage to cross the river, to find her father's house, and to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage. The wedding was beautiful. They were happy. She went with him to his house. It took 3 days to walk there. A small house, a simple house, water buffalo, a few crops. Here they lived. And the month passed, and their love blossomed like a flower on a spring day. But one day, the woman's brother came knocking on the door. He said, "Our father is sick. You must come now. You must come to him. He's on his deathbed." She said, "Yes, we will go, but now it is late. Come, sleep. We'll go in the morning." And so the next morning, she, her brother, her husband, they set off. And they crossed the plains. They crossed the fields. They walked and they walked and they walked, and the sun was high in the sky and it was hot, and they came to a temple. The brother said, "Wait, I must go inside. I must worship the goddess inside. I must pray for our father, pray that he is still alive when we get back." He went into the temple, and there, inside, the goddess Kali. And there she stood, with her long black tongue stretched from her mouth, her eyes wide, gazing out, dancing on the body of Shiva, her husband. And he fell down on his knees in front of her. "Kali, what do I have to give you, you goddess of destruction? What can I offer you?" He had nothing with him, nothing. But lying on the ground there was a sword. "I will give you myself." And he picked up his sword and he cut off his own head. Outside, she and her husband waited. And waited. And waited. And finally the husband said, I will go in. I'll find him." He went into the Kali temple and he fell down on his knees in front of her, and when he did, he saw the head of his brother-in-law, the body of his brother-in-law. What has he done? He saw the sword. He saw Kali. He has made the greatest offering of all. I must do the same. And he picked up the sword and he chopped off his head. And outside, the woman waited and waited and waited. She went into the temple to find them. And saw their heads on the ground, saw their bodies, saw Kali. What has happened? What? And then she understood. They had made the greatest sacrifice of all. Without my husband, without my brother, with my dying father, there is nothing left for me. I too will make this sacrifice. And she went outside. She went to a tree. She unraveled her sari. She tied the sari in the branch of the tree. She wrapped the sari around her neck. She was just about to jump down from the branch when she heard a voice. You are good. You are blessed. But you do not need to make this offering to me. You have shown your love and compassion now. Go back to the temple. Return the heads to the bodies, and you will see that I am the goddess of destruction and creation, life taker and life giver. She opened her eyes. There was nobody there. She untied the sari. She climbed down from the tree into the temple. And just as the voice had said, under the great figure of the goddess Kali, she lifted the heads and she placed them on the bodies. Eyes blinked. Limbs moved. The two of them, they got to their feet, filled with life again. Come, she said, we must get to my father. And they left that temple. The three of them walked out of that temple. They left the Kali temple behind and they carried on their journey. The husband and the brother and she walking behind, and the husband and the brother and the brother and the... She realized what a terrible mistake she had made. She had placed the head of her brother on her husband's body, the head of her husband on her brother's body. Which one was which? Which one was her husband? Which one was her brother? Which one would she go to bed with that night? You tell me. Where does the soul reside? In our thinking or in our feeling? In the head or in the body? What do you think? In the head? Yeah? In the head, okay. In the body, maybe? Why the body? Why the head? Because everything comes through the mind. Okay. So our soul resides in our thoughts. Okay. Good. You look at them in the face. We recognize somebody with their face.
So she would make love to her husband while staring into the eyes of her brother. Oh, the other way around.
The other way around.
So she'd make love to her brother while staring into the eyes of her. You seem so confident. Yes.
Where does the soul reside? In our thoughts or in our feelings?
She could have both.
Could have both. Choose whichever one she wanted each night, one after the other. You decide.